Welcome to VLSI design video. This is about the unit 2 of BE Electronics VLSI design, digital circuit design and testing using HDL, and we are looking at the part 5, that is the lecture 5. So the contents which I am going to cover in this particular video is basic test benches, test bench structure. So the objective of this video is to make you to understand how to write a HDL test bench, that is VHDL as well as Verilog test bench. And the same books which you are supposed to refer are for VHDL Nawabi Bhaskar and for Verilog Bhaskar and Palnitkar. So first let's see the test bench. Before going to the test bench, let's see the background or the verification or in VLSI. So in the introduction we are going to look at the verification is the major part in the VLSI design flow. So when we go for verification, so the verification time spent by the VLSI engineers on verification is shown in the graph here, what you can spot. So the percentage of time spent is mostly in the verification in the design cycle of VLSI design. So verification is perhaps the most difficult aspect of any design. That's not an excuse for omitting it or leaving to others. And when we consider multiple levels, single component module with multiple sub-components and system level. So multiple abstraction levels, in that again it takes little more time. In synchronous design, we verify the functionality at cycle level accuracy. So if the design is too high, then keep on checking and then doing the simulation and then verifying, implementing and then verifying. So this is like a recursive process, and the time spent on this verification is more. So if you observe this graph, more than 60 to 70% of the time is much spent on verification. So not detailed timing, which will be checked with the static timing analysis tools. So the idea behind a test bench is to use a computer simulator to test our own circuit or our own design by initiating the design, by supplying the circuit with some stimulus, and by seeing what it does, and then check whether the correct outputs or correct results are obtained or not. So what is a test bench? Test bench is a piece of code meant to verify the functional correctness of HDL model. The main objective of test bench is to instantiate the design under test. This design under test is also called as device under test, which is in short called as DUT. Then generate the stimulus waveforms for DUT and generate reference outputs and compare them with the outputs of DUT. Automatically provide a pass or fail indication. So the test bench is a part of the circuit specification. Sometimes it's a good idea to design the test bench before the DUT. Functional specification ambiguities will be found, force us to dig out the relevant information of the environment, different designers for DUT and its test bench. So test bench is nothing but HDL code to test or to verify your own design, again which is written in HDL. So test bench should be reusable without difficult modifications. It should be modular in design. The structure of the test bench should be simple enough so that other people understand its behavior. It has to be easy to run, and not much dependencies on files or scripts should be there. Good test bench propagates all the generics and constants into DUT. So now let's see what are the types of test benches. So this is just the diagrammatical representation which shows you that we pass the test inputs, which is called as a stimulus. It can be vector or it can be a single input based on the need of the test pattern which is to be applied to the design under test or device under test. These stimulus are passed. So test vectors here indicates the stimulus which are to be passed to device under test, and then we are supposed to analyze our result. Here we don't say directly results, we call the result analysis, because analysis indicates we know what we have designed. As a designer, I know what I have designed, I know the functionality of it, so I know what the outputs are expected. So expected outputs along with the results which are coming up here are to be compared. So that's why this is called as result analysis. And then if I feel that both are right, then I say what I have kept here for testing is perfect or correct. If not, I will say it is failure, and I will check or look into the design and trace out where the problem is. So test benches are, the types of test benches are simple test bench, self-checking test bench, and self-checking test bench with test vectors. So first see what a simple test bench is. This is a simple test bench where we apply the stimulus to the design under test or device under test. Only the DUT is instantiated into the test bench. Stimulus is generated inside the test bench itself, not automatically handwritten code trying to spot corner cases, but it is, the problem with this is it has poor reusability, because once we have entered, the same thing will be applied, but we cannot use it again and again because it is written inside again the test bench code or HDL. It is suitable only for very simple designs, if at all. However, such test bench can be used as an usage example to familiarize new user with device under test. It's like, see, driving input like this makes the DUT do something useful. Let's see into the example. And one more thing you need to observe is test bench is to test the design, so it does not have any inputs and output ports. Test bench will have empty ports. That means in a VHDL it has empty entity, and in the module the port list what we mentioned will be empty. So here you can see module test bench is having empty ports. So since I have empty ports but I have to pass the inputs, so those inputs and outputs which I am going to pass and check are treated as reg type. So you know the reg types are nothing but nets. Nets are nothing but the wires which internally they are generated. They are called as signals. So they are assigned as reg A, B, C, and I am taking a wire Y. So simple function I have taken, silly function. It can be a half adder, or it can be a full adder, it can be a counter, it can be a ALU, it can be a CPU, or any function what I have written, or any design what I have written will be called up here, and they are supposed to be mapped. So it is given the label and the port mapping has to be done. So it is mapped with the ports, and then we are supposed to apply the stimulus. So for applying the stimulus we need to use a behavioral modeling style programming. So initial is a must, initial block is a behavioral block, then begin, then we are applying the stimulus here. What I am applying here? I am applying A0, B0, C0, and hash 10 indicates I am asking it to wait for 10 nanoseconds. In Verilog, the time delay is mentioned as hash followed by the number. Hash 10 indicates 10 nanoseconds. It is asked to wait for 10 nanoseconds. So you all know, we check with the timing diagram or the waveform. So here A0, A0, B0, C0 all will be waiting for 10 nanoseconds. Next, C1 and 10 nanoseconds. It indicates what? A will be again maintained 0, B also will be maintained again 0, but only C is changed, and then it will further wait for 10 more nanoseconds. Similarly, here again if we see, A will be remaining same, C also 0 and B is 1, asked to wait for 10 nanoseconds. So likewise, I can give any number of stimulus and I ask to wait for 10 nanoseconds. Why we are giving here the wait statement or waiting for 10 nanoseconds? If I don't mention here the 10 nanoseconds, the stimulus which I applied will change in 0 time, where with the human eye we cannot trace the changes which are happening in the output. Since the inputs are changing, inputs are nothing but the sensitive ones, it is 0 0 0 again in 0 seconds or 0 nanoseconds. In no time, if again the C is changing to 1, how can you trace out whether your output is going to be 0 or output is going to be 1? So since to trace up and to see clearly whether the output is stable for the time or output is being 0 or 1 in that particular time, we are supposed to mention the wait period or time period. It could be even 1 nanosecond or it could be 2 nanoseconds or any nanoseconds, but we are supposed to ask it to wait so that with the human eyes and as the timing diagram on the waveform, we can trace out and see and watch and say clearly the result is going to be correct or wrong in the result analysis block, and then end your initial block and end the module. So this is how we write a simple test bench. Next is self-checking test bench. It is better than simple test bench. This test bench also includes a statement to check the current state. $display will write a message in the simulator. Once we check the self-checking, see, all the test benches are to check or to verify. Simple test benches also will verify. Self-checking test benches also will verify the functionality. But the thing is, once self-checking is done, here in the previous case, nowhere I have asked it to display a message. But here in this case, we say to display a message. So $display is to write a message in the simulator saying that this is wrong or this is correct or there is an error or there is a warning and so on. So this is a lot of work. Suppose imagine a 32-bit processor I have. It is executing a program. So in order to execute a 32-bit processor program, thousands of clock cycles are needed. So what you do, for all those you don't need to wait, and you may make some mistakes when writing those things in the actual code. So in that case, you will be saying that give some error message or say that error has occurred. Let's look into the example. Module test bench 2. Again same thing as I said, ports will be empty. No input output ports will be declared inside the module. They will be declared as signals or reg and wire. Simply again I have written it as a silly function, and the device under test we are mapping the ports. Then apply the stimulus initial and then begin the block, initial block. See here, A0, B0, C0 hash 10 indicates I am asking you to wait for 10 nanoseconds, and if my output is not equal to 1, what does it indicate? Y is my output. If my Y is not equal to 1, I say $display 000 failed. That means A is 0, B is 0, C is 0. All the zeros what I applied is failed. So if y is 1, suppose if y equals 1, then what does it display? No, it will not display. Only when my output is going to be false or output is not equal to 1, then it indicates a display message with all 0 is failed or 001 is failed and so on. Or in this double quotes I can mention even output is incorrect or error or false message. Any message which I want to display can be written within the double quotes, but $display will display you that message whatever you have written within the double quotes. Similarly, when C is 1, asking it to wait for 10 nanoseconds. If y is not equal to 0, sorry, if y is not equal to 0, $display 001 failed. So likewise I can give any number of display messages where while applying the stimulus and generating the outputs, if the generated output is not with the expected output, then I'll ask the simulator to display a message which I want to display, so that any other person who is going to verify will easily understand and can trace out the problem. So this is the second type of test bench, which is called as self-checking test bench. Next, the third one is test bench with test vectors. This is the more elaborate test bench. We write test vector file, inputs and expected outputs. Usually can use a high level model, which is called as a golden model, to produce the correct input output vectors. So the test bench will generate the clock for assigning inputs, reading outputs, read test vector file into array, assign inputs, get expected output from DUT, compare outputs to expected outputs and report errors. So example we'll see. The meaning of test bench with test vectors is we are supposed to write a file separately and then invoke that file, so that that file will be attached as a test bench file, and then it will work on your verification. So for example, I need to generate a clock. I have written a code. So module test bench register as a clock reset, and reg type again abcy expected and wire y. Reg type 32 bits I have taken vector number errors, again 4 bit test vectors, and assigned it as 10000 array of test vectors. So again I called a silly function with a, b, c as inputs and y as output, and here I am using a always block. Always begin clock is 1 hash 5, that means clock is 1 wait for 5 nanoseconds, and clock 0 again wait for 5 nanoseconds. So in 10 nanoseconds period clock will be 1 and 0. So here is the block where we are going to generate the clock. See, clock is nothing but ones and zeros in one period. Clock cycle we have on and off, or 1 and 0. So one clock cycle consists of same duty cycle, on and off periods will be same. So clock 1 is 5 nanoseconds and clock 0 5 nanoseconds. That means in 10 nanosecond period I am generating a clock pulse. So the clock pulse is of 10 nanoseconds, on period is 5 and off period is 5. Next, read test vectors into array. How to read? So after the begin of the initial block, using the $readme, I am taking an example.tv. So in this example.tv I have written the test vectors. So the text vectors are already written, like A0, B0, C0, A0, B0, C1, A1, B0, or any other example test vectors are already written in this test vector file, and I am asking the simulator to read this test vector file which is mentioned in the double quotes. So it reads the test vectors and then it works out in my file. So vector num is 0, error 0, reset is 1, wait for 27 nanoseconds, and reset is 0, it is continuously and end. So readme h reads vector test vector files written inside the example.tv or any other test vector file. Next, third is assigning inputs and expected outputs. So we are supposed to write the vectors. Always at the positive edge of the clock, begin, wait for 1 nanoseconds, and then asking it a, b, c, y expected is equals test vectors vector num. What are these test vectors? These are in the example.tv and the numbers are also expressed. So if they are equal, expected and the vectors what are equal, then it will verify or check whether they are equal or not, and then compare the outputs with expected outputs. How to compare? So the comparing is, if y is not equal to y expected, what is this y expected? Should be equal to the test vectors what they are written. If they are not equal, then it will display the error. If they are equal, it won't display this error message or output is not equal or output is not up to the mark, and then my error count will start increasing. If this is one error, this is one more error, so my errors will be errors plus 1. So this is inside a loop. So likewise also, when I could count the number of errors which are generated. So this is such a big file, big type of test bench. So the test vectors need vector file, and then those are to be made it separate blocks so that the errors also has to be counted. And if these type of test vectors generally or test benches are used for a complex designs, because in the complex design each and every line cannot be traced by the number of errors which are coming out. A user or a verification engineer can easily track saying that I got 10 errors or 11 errors, and go back and see where the error is and can uh, check and correct it and then re-verify it again and again. So these are the different types of test benches. Thank you for watching.